timing is everything in music. May it be micro timings such as in hip-hop or major tempo changes such as in classical music. When we produce music for film and games, we can add a whole new universe if we start messing with the tempo map. My name is Denno. In this episode it's all about tempo, and I have a special guest with lots of experience in working with symphony orchestras. Enjoy, relax, like and subscribe. As a composer, the thinking about tempo and pulse has a long tradition for myself. When I realized that the word metrum is derived from mater, meaning mother, then even the etymological view shows how connected the concepts are. Rhythm is coming out of humanity's womb. To clarify some wording, I want to show you this. Metrum, pulse, rhythm. Metrum is the underlying beating, a segregation of time. It can be seen as a recording click. It does not sound in music, but it is an orientation grid for rhythmic elements. A rhythm is a segregation of time by any sonic elements. In its easiest form, the time periods have even ratios, like long, short, super short, but they have those even ratios. A pulse does provide one period between sonic elements, thus they are all equally distributed. It is similar to the metrum, but of course it can be any subdivision. Tempo now is the speed of the metrum. It can be very slow or super fast. Now I asked my dear friend Wolfgang, who is a conductor for symphonic orchestras and also teaching at the University of Arts in Graz, Austria, to share some ideas on tempo. So let's listen to him.
All these ideas of tempo changings is a strong idea of 19th century music, comes strongly from Richard Wagner. And he mentioned it, the melos. And the melos means any kind of music melody you're playing. Check it out how you would sing it. Okay? So, and if you sing something, you're not counting always with a metronome in the background or with your feet, but you just sing it as the music is getting into a flow.
So to change the gesture, the feeling of a music, we can memorize one thing. The metrum, which is defining the tempo, is connected to our heartbeat. Slow in relaxed states and faster when being excited.
If you're really completely on stage and really very perceptive and very sensible to what is happening, you bring this also into the moment. And when the moment needs it, then of course you react on the tempo. And you have to give more space that the energy can fade away maybe, or the energy can flourish or whatever. So it's always being in the time completely, but in your background, in your system is your preparation. So this comes together on stage.
As the music is advancing through various emotional states, the tempo should also change. It could change. In romantic music, we deal with a lot of tempo changes, not only of different movements, big sections of the music, but also subsections and even during bars. So it's almost a micro timing. This extreme form of constant tempo change we call rubato, and amplifies the music emotionally. And why is this? It is the game of hesitating and rushing. So check out this example of a sequence in rubato. When we look at orchestral music, it is the conductor who decides on the tempo of a movement and also on spontaneous changes of tempo. Those are not always described in the score, and even if so, they can be interpreted deliberately, which, as you can imagine, leads to long discussions whether how faithful to the original the performance should be. So how can we as media composers deal with that? Should we do the tempo changes as well?
When you compose music and you're very close to what you're doing and very identified at the moment to what you're doing and it's fitting for you, then you have to bridge to another person. Yeah. But what does not work is if you make solutions out of your head only, out of your mind only. Yeah? So it's not lowering and decrease the tempo. That's just an idea. But how it feels is just what you have to feel when you do it.
Fact is, we should make use of tempo changes unless we want our music to sound robotic, which is of course great too. In DAWs we can easily mess with the tempo, and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, some practicals before. As you can imagine, when we touch the tempo map, we can easily lose control. Most DAWs have two concepts how to align elements. Whether they stick to the grid, meaning they stick to their bar position, okay? They stick on the metronome. This is what we want in this case. Or they stick to the time code position they are on, and changing the tempo then makes them change their bar position, of course. So this can seriously mess everything up. So be sure you switch from linear to musical modes. So this is what it's called in Cubase. But with all your tracks, okay, before touching the tempo. The second tip, have a safety tempo marker on the beginning of each piece if you happen to have multiple pieces in a session, and as media composers usually we do. So the piece's tempo cannot be changed because it's got this safety tempo marker when you added something before it, which of course can happen. This said, we can now deliberately draw in the tempo map, and as long as everything is still in the immediate domain, yeah, the samples will play back perfectly. Problems of course occur when working with rendered audio, which does not stretch with the tempo map. This requires more work steps. We will not cover this here in the video. In this example, the tempo is becoming slower for the sake of an interesting transition. So check out this piece of music. The tempo is rising throughout the whole music. It is constantly changing. Is always rising here, right?
It's not harder and it's not easier to do it on computer. It's just a different thing.
I hope we could clarify a few terms and provide some inspiration on tempo changes in music. For questions and ideas, please comment, stay healthy, like, subscribe, and have a good one. See you next video. Ciao. Thank you so much, Wolfgang.
Thanks for calling and see you soon.